Hello, Dr. Mandal here. I just wanted to come to you with a video for Spirituality Talk. Spirituality Talk is a show that I do that is based around my experiences thus far on planet Earth that may be of sometimes seeming mundane, spiritual, metaphysical, paranormal, supernatural, you name it. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the fact that I started watching X-Files again. And I started from the very beginning with the first season, and now I'm all the way on the 10th season. And there's a big difference in the first season all the way down to the 10th season of X-Files. If you don't know what the show X-Files is, which it's hard for me to believe nobody would know what that is. X-Files is a show where they talk about conspiracy theories, based primarily around the paranormal, supernatural type of material. Some people thought that they brought out X-Files just so they could scare people and make people think about things that they would never dare to think about, things that are in the realm of science fiction. When I was watching a few episodes of X-Files, it made me think of some of the experiences that I had when I was younger. I remember I was watching this one episode of X-Files, and I can't remember which season it was, of this woman. She was being abducted, and she was being, I don't know, she was experiencing a sexual encounter with an extraterrestrial from another planet. And it was just really bizarre seeing that. Because I've read stories about that, having to deal with, like, in the horror type of thing. Like, what was that one story? It was an autobiography where this lady was being, sexually attacked by what she called a demon. Um, I've experienced a long time ago where I felt like I was being attacked or whatever, sexually attacked, but I couldn't see what it was. I couldn't see it when I opened my eyes. I couldn't see it. And this was when I was in an apartment that I lived in by myself, when I was single at the time. And this was a long time ago. And I was like in my, not quite early, almost mid-20s, I think. But yeah, it was a very, it was an unsettling experience. I didn't feel like I was extremely violated, to tell you the truth. It just felt bizarre, is all I can explain it to be. And this is an experience I don't really tell a lot of people, really. A lot of people don't realize that there's unseen energies around you all the time. Someone might say of an extraterrestrial nature. Some may say it's just a spirit. Some may say it's a ghost. All of these go into different categories. So when I was watching X-Files, it started to make me think of things that I put out of my memory for for obvious reasons, because things like that are unsettling, and you can't really talk to anybody about things like that. So I didn't bring my tea. Let me go grab my tea. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got my tea. I made some ginger root green tea. So. So yeah, I know that sounds very bizarre if you've never heard any kind of experience like that before, but there was a story a long time ago, like I was talking about, from this book. I can't remember the name of the book, but they made it into a movie, and this came out in the 1970s, where this woman was being sexually attacked by an energy, unseen energy she could not see. And she was confused about it. People just thought she was possessed, but there was an actual energy that was attacking her and violating her and it was just a scary experience. And when I saw that movie, I watched that movie a long time ago, and then I found out it was based on a true story. I was like, oh my fucking god. And then later on in life, something happened to me that was similar, but it wasn't like a forced thing. It didn't feel like it was a violation. It felt like it was a mutual thing. And this was a long time ago when I was young, when I was that younger, as if like a kid, but when I was an adult. Like I said, in my like early to mid 20s is when that experience happened. And watching X Files made me think of that type of stuff. All these experiences I've had that I just kind of kept to myself and didn't really share with anybody because I knew nobody that I knew at the time would be able to relate to it, have any insights on it, or has had that experience themselves. Um, After that experience happened with me, I didn't feel like I was violated or scared or anything like that. I started feeling like maybe it was a familiar spirit or soul that I had known once upon a time. You know, I didn't feel like it was something that was violating me. So, if it feels like if something like that happens to you, you feel like someone's violating you, you got to put some sort of protection up around you, and not be afraid to do that. Not be afraid to say no, this is not right, whether you can see it or not. You know, I've encountered ghostly phenomena that I could not see, but I could actually hear. Um, and that I've talked about on other past videos as well. But you got to talk to it or communicate with it in some way so that it doesn't attack you. But anyway, watching X Files really brought up a lot of these type of memories of experiences that I had throughout childhood, throughout teenage years, and to the adult years. Um, a lot of unexplained phenomenon happened at the time that was unexplained, but now that I look back on it, it's totally explained. I understand what's going on now. What can help you to understand all of these paranormal, supernatural experiences that happen in your life is keeping a diary of it and journaling it so that at least you have documentation that it did happen. Because as years go by, the details become fuzzy and you forget. So that's what I recommend for you guys, to put together a spiritual journal of all your spiritual, encounters. Maybe buy a big like college rule notebook and separate it in categories or something, or get a binder and some paper and just separate it in categories from as far as paranormal experiences go or supernatural experiences go. But it's good to write it down, keep some sort of documentation of all these things that are happening to you. Because if not, like I said, as time goes by, details will get foggy. Um, excuse me. All of the episodes of Ghost Files, X Files, are not superb. They're not, because they start to get too close to the surface of the truth, and then they have to put a light and whimsical episode next, so that you don't get too wrapped up in the seriousness of whatever conspiracy theory that they present before you. I'm going to do a review on X Files, the whole entirety of all the seasons, soon, once I finish watching what I'm watching now, season 10 and then season 11. After I do that, I'm going to do a whole review about it. So if you guys are interested, watch yourself some X Files, do an X Files marathon and check it out. There's a lot of things in there that are happening to everyday people in those shows, but a lot of the episodes make light of some of the stuff so that you don't take it too seriously and get too scared. But it's kind of silly, because if nobody's used to seeing things like this on television, of course they're going to be scared when they watch it. Yeah. But that's all I have for you today for spirituality talk today. I think I said quite a bit. If anybody's had similar experiences that I talked about on today's show, please share it in the comment section below. I don't think a lot of people talk about these kind of experiences. I know I don't. I was embarrassed to talk about that, the one I told you about on today's show. It was kind of like, do I share this or no? Or is it just something private that I keep? But this has happened to many other people as well. Visitations from whatever you want to call spirits from another dimension, different energies mingling with your energies. It's just a whole nother world. The spirit world is a whole different world, and I believe that those who have gone before us may have shared a lifetime with them, and we reconnect. So that could have a lot to do with it. So I just couldn't make sense of it at the time because my life at the time was very chaotic. I was going through a lot of major changes. I just had a major breakup that really messed me up to the point where I had to the point where I had put down money in an apartment, moved out of my apartment, thought this relationship was gonna turn out, and realized that it wasn't. The other person wasn't reciprocating what I was feeling. So it ended up having to move out of that place that I had got for the both me and my ex at the time. And I just said, fine, just keep this place and I'm gone. I just decided to just grab another apartment, because I couldn't live with somebody who didn't want to be with me in that way. So then I decided to get my own apartment. I did. Um, and that's when I had that experience. So when I was just by myself and decided to like just heal myself from past relationship, um, and just be by myself and not jump into another relationship. That's when that happened. That encounter happened. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't forced. It wasn't rape. It was consensual, but it was like an energy to energy type of thing. It was definitely a sexual encounter, and it wasn't unpleasant. It felt like a familiar type of being, a familiar soul, like I've known this person before. So, and to this day, probably if I were to talk about it right now or meditate on it right now, I could probably figure out what that was all about. And that's the thing, that's what I'm saying, is keep a journal, write down these experiences so that they don't become foggy in your brain. And also so you can look back on them and understand them and know what exactly was going on. If you pose a question in your dream about whatever, like this experience I had, I could probably get an answer and find out what that energy was all about, where it came from. So, but anyway, thank you for joining me today for Spirituality Talk. I hope this helped you guys a lot. I definitely don't talk about things that are mundane. I mean, well, the mundane can be very spiritual too, but I mean, I don't usually only talk about things that are just like, hey, how's the weather? The topics that come out on this channel are very, very, can be very controversial and can be very disturbing to some people. But I like to bring out my experiences and share them with you and see if you've had the same experiences as well. And when we share, we grow and we learn together. We're always the student here on this planet. So thanks for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for the likes and shares. And thank you for your kind comments. Like I said, leave your comments down below and let me know if you've had any paranormal or supernatural experiences similar to this. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below and ask me, or just email me at and I'll have my email address down there. And I could probably on a Thursday, on a Spirituality Talk Thursday, I can share your experience on video. So it's up to you. I know everybody's experience is personal, and I understand if nobody wants to share those type of experiences, because some of those experiences can be downright scary. But the way that we make them less scary is by sharing them with others. So, with that said, thank you so much for joining me today. Brightest blessings to you all, and I'll see you soon.